The Federal Department of Homeland Security is offering support to local agencies to help train Oklahomans to spot human trafficking. Reporter Joel Filomeno joins us now with more on how the DHS Blue campaign will be implemented here in Oklahoma. Joel.
Rich, the Freedom Healing Center is just getting started with its mission to help Oklahoma rid itself of modern-day slavery.
We're so thankful and grateful we get this opportunity to help victims and survivors and really walk with them through this healing journey.
The nonprofit organization, the Freedom Healing Center, partnered with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Blue campaign to help the public recognize the telltale signs of human trafficking.
We provided toolkits and posters to put into the public sector's hands for colleges and convenience stores and transportation places, really just to educate the public about human trafficking.
Survivors lead the organization, says founder and executive director Angelicia Henderson, who is a survivor herself.
It was birthed out of a vision just to help survivors and victims. Being survivor-led, I have a really good understanding of what the victims and survivors need.
Oklahoma ranks 26 in the U.S. for reports of human trafficking, but third in the nation for human trafficking arrests, according to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. There were 438 reports of human trafficking in Oklahoma. 206 of those reports were from victims or survivors directly.
Labor trafficking, I don't think has gotten really enough of this spotlight.
Blue Campaign Chief Advisor Mariah C. Lasinski says there is much more to the trafficking industry than what you see in films.
Media and Hollywood tend to focus right on sex trafficking when really it's labor trafficking that we're seeing more and more of. From Blue Campaign side, working with our survivor network, we're actually growing our survivor network to bring in more labor trafficking survivors.
Lasinski says modern-day slavery also lingers in towns across the U.S.
They will bring somebody from their home country or another country to be like a maid or a nanny, and they basically take their documents and then they become prisoners in the house. So they lock them in the house, they're forced to clean, they're not really allowed to leave.
It's sex trafficking, it's labor trafficking, it's domestic servitude, and it can be happening right next door.
State Senator Shane Jett says Oklahomans can spot trafficking in almost any community.
It's very deadly serious, and it's happening all across Oklahoma. It's happening in the casinos, it's happening in hotels, high-end hotels. And you won't know it unless you know the telltale signs to look for. And the training's online and available, and it's free.
A lot of us are so busy, we don't take the time to really get involved.
The Project Foundation Vice Chair Melania Vong says education is also key when it comes to spotting human trafficking.
It's vital that everybody gets educated. Just like the Blue Campaign, they have different trainings for everybody, whether you're retail, whether you're a church.
Vong says victims need help communicating their situation to others.
There's a language, there's a specific way of communicating to them out of love, making sure that you know that you're there to care for them and not judge them.
Jett supports the Freedom Healing Center's efforts to bring awareness to human trafficking in Oklahoma.
The Blue Campaign has a lot of resources online in Spanish and English and over 30 different languages. So you can, first is getting informed, finding organizations that share your values and volunteering with those organizations just like the ones here.
Law enforcement also helps train the Freedom Healing Center and other companies on reporting human trafficking.
We partner with the OVC, which is Office of Victims of Crime, and TTAC, which is Technical Training and Assistance, and we actually provide those trainings. So just be on the lookout for Freedom Healing Center. We will have trainings upcoming.
The state senator from Shawnee thinks it's important to have the right training before reporting any human trafficking.
If you can surreptitiously get any of that information and provide it to law enforcement, then you could be the key to get them rescued. But if you try to rescue them, you don't have the training, you don't have the know-how, it can cost you your lives.
Henderson says that the center provides needs for other victims.
Our organizations are so important because we're providing the services, those gaps that are being missed. A lot of times when people are just reported as domestic violence victims or it's not reported at all, and so they fall through the cracks.
But that's not all the organization plans to do.
We will have a 24-hour hotline for our victims and survivors, case management, referrals, community-based referrals, legal assistance, trauma-based cognitive therapy, just for our victims, for their healing process.
Jet says state lawmakers have a role to play as well.
What we're looking for is legislation to streamline the process so that those victims can expunge the criminal activity that happened while they were not acting in their own free will. So just trying to be compassionate and understanding, as we're hearing from victims, how it's difficult to get a job when they have a rap sheet that was not of their own making.
Every victim and survivor, their healing journey is going to look a little different. So that's why we just walk alongside of them and fill in the gaps where we can. The team of a community.
To report any suspected incidents of human trafficking, please contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888.